Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how to cite multiple sources in succession using the APA style. In previous videos I've showed you how you go about citing one source in support of something you've said. Here's an example of such a citation on the screen now. You can see we've used the parenthetical style of citation. That's to say that we've cited the author after we've made the applicable point. But of course, sometimes it's appropriate to cite several sources in succession to support a point you're making. And these kind of occasions can occur if you were to say something like a body of research has failed to support a particular theory. And the reason you'd want to use a number of sources when you've made such an assertion is that by saying something like a body of research, what you're doing is indicating to the reader that you're going to give them a number of examples of sources that substantiate that point rather than just one. So let's have a look at how it works. Now, as you can see, it's kind of like a parenthetical citation, just a bit longer, but it works the same way. The first thing to note is that when you're going to chain a number of different sources together, you need to make sure that the order in which you cite those sources is alphabetical. So you can see here we've got J for Jones, then R for Rogers, then S for Smith. So you open brackets, you start with the author or authors of the first paper, surname only of course because we're dealing with citations here, put a comma, then a space, and then the date of the first publication. What you then do is use a semicolon to indicate that you've moved from the first citation to the second citation. Here we've got a paper that's been composed by two authors, and you might remember from a previous video that when there are two authors you just use the surname of the first author, then an ampersand, and then the surname of the second author. That's followed by a comma, a space, and the date of the publication. We then use another semicolon to indicate we are now moving on to a third source. This third source, for argument's sake, has been composed by three or more authors, and you might recall from the previous video on citation that when we are citing a source that's been composed by three or more authors, we only use the surname of the first author, followed by the expression et al., which means and others, then a full stop, then a comma, then a space, then the date of the publication, and then we close brackets to indicate that the chain of sources that we're citing is over. And because this is a parenthetical citation and it's going to conclude a sentence, we always put a full stop at the end as well. So let's give you a chance to test your knowledge of how you go about making a citation that consists of a number of sources in succession. On the screen now you can see an example of such a citation. What I'd like you to do is to pause the video, have a look at this citation and see if you can spot what's wrong with it. Press play on the video when you're ready to continue. Hopefully you've spotted two errors in the above citation. The first thing is that the chain of sources in this citation are not organised alphabetically. You can see we've got Jones at the end here, where really that should have been the first citation in the chain. The second error is that the different sources are not separated by a semicolon. So you can see, first of all, we should have had a semicolon between 1998 and Thompson, because Richard's 1998 and Thompson 1998 are two different sources. So here's how it should have looked. Here you can see that the citations are now in alphabetical order, and also we've separated each of the sources with a semicolon. And that's all there is to it. I hope you found this video useful. If so, please do hit the like button. If you're interested in the contents of the Psychology of Effective Studying's YouTube channel, then please do subscribe and consider turning on the notifications so you know when I post new content. Thanks very much.